questions, I do want to let you know that at the expo area, we have 2 financial aid tables, and they're all being manned by financial aid counselors. So you also have access to some additional counselors here. And even if you don't have questions for us, just come and say hi to us and tell us we're doing a great job. Because, you know, we got to package all of you guys to come in here. So welcome to all of you here to CSUN. You guys are in for a ride. I'm a CSUN double alum. I did my undergraduate studies, I did my graduate studies, and then I said, what the heck, let me stay here and work, because that's how much I love CSUN. So I've been on this campus approximately 27 years. I know, don't I look good?
Yeah.
Thank you. So let's get started. So how is financial aid determined? So one of the first things is that you have to fill out that FAFSA or California Dream Act application, because you're going to get a number that's called the estimated family contribution. And that's this acronym here. You'll hear us say EFC all the time. And I'm just going to warn you, financial aid has its own language. We speak in acronyms all the time. Even FAFSA, that's an acronym, right? Who knows what FAFSA stands for? The free application for federal student aid. See? Acronyms all over the place. EFC, estimated family contribution. COA, cost of attendance. What does this cost of attendance mean? Well, every college campus has to give you an estimate of what it's going to cost to attend their college. It's kind of when you go to a car lot, you go to that sticker price and it tells you how much that car is going to cost, but not until you actually walk into the finance office can you negotiate those prices down. Cost of attendance is similar, with the exception of your tuition. You can't negotiate the tuition, that's pretty set. But the books, you can negotiate that. Are you gonna get electronic books, digital books? Are you gonna buy used books? Are you gonna rent books? Are you just not gonna buy books? I'm not encouraging that, because you wanna get good grades, right? So that's a negotiable. Your housing. Housing, how many of you guys are going to be living on campus? Did you only have one housing price, or did you have options to pick from? Options, right? Suite, meal plan, sharing a room. So you can negotiate your price based on that. So your cost of attendance really is an individual cost, because it depends on what your expenses are, with the exception of tuition. So based on your cost of attendance, minus the number you get from financial aid, will equal what's called your need. This is what financial aid tries to fill, is that need. So after your parents are helping you contribute to that college cost, well, what are some contributions parents will do? They'll buy groceries for you. They'll let you come home and do the laundry. Maybe some of them will continue to be your chauffeurs and bring you to school and pick you up. That's what we mean by family contribution, is the expenses that you as parents are contributing to the cost to go to college. So it's not an actual check that you're going to be filling out. It's not going to be something that you have to pay out of pocket. It's the things you already do. What if your child is going to stay at home and commute to school? Well, you're providing a roof over their heads, so that's already part of that contribution that the family is doing. So know that the need is what financial aid tries to fill. When you hear this is need-based aid, you have to have a positive of this. Because what if the cost of attendance is, say, $20,000, but your EFC is $30,000? Is there a need left? There isn't. But typically, that's not the EFC that most students will get. They'll get a lower number than that. So just so you guys know, this is the formula all financial aid offices utilize to package you with financial aid. So how do you check for your financial aid? The famous portal. This is where all of your college business is going to happen. You can enroll for classes. You can pay for your classes. You want to find out your financial aid package? This is where you go. You want to accept your loans? This is where you go. You want to apply for college? this is where you go. So the portal is very important. For all the students here, I would highly recommend play around with the portal. Click links. Where does this take me? What does this do? Just like you learn how to use Twitter, Snapchat, and Facebook, this is another platform. You guys just got to play around with it, find out what's accessible to you. So this, when you click this My Northridge portal, it'll open up the login box. So you want to use your username and password to log in. It'll take you to the page you want to click on Financial Aid Matters tab. This is the tab where your account and your financial aid awards will live. You want to find the Financial Aid Essentials pagelet right here. Check your awards, accept your loans, your to-do list. If you were selected for a process called verification, don't be afraid. This is just the federal government's way for quality control. Quality control just means everybody who applied this for their FAFSA, did they do it right? So the school has to verify the income information. It's not a form to say, ha, you were lying. That's not what that means. A lot of families sometimes get intimidated when we're asking you for your tax transcript information because they're like, we used an estimate and it's so different from the actual taxes, and we understand that. That's a reality. So don't avoid this process. Get the information that we need. If we need to correct it, that's what the process is meant for, is to make those corrections so that you're packaged correctly. The other thing on here you want to make sure is that if you don't see an award there now, check the to-do list, because most likely we haven't awarded you because we're missing a document. And we'll talk at the very end of what are the most commonly requested documents that we request so that you can get an idea of what those things are. So once you click on check your awards, it'll take you here. And if you'll notice, this student has been attending for quite a few years here, since 2013, 2014. The financial aid year is always going to be the year of your spring semester. So what year is your financial aid award going to be? Louder. I heard 17. That's not the spring semester. The spring semester starts in January, which is going to be 2018. So your financial aid award year is 2018, okay? Once you click on that, it'll take you to a summary page of your financial aid. This will show you your full academic year financial aid. It is considered a 9-month budget between your fall semester and your spring semester. The winter and the summer months do not count as this award. So when you look at this, this is the award that you're gonna estimate has to last you through the entire academic year. Here you see that this student is getting a federal Pell Grant. Do you notice the next one is called a state university grant? So your financial aid packet, so your FAFSA or your California Dream application gets submitted to the federal government, so your federal grants will get awarded through that, your federal student loans will get awarded through that, then your FAFSA is sent over to the California State Commission. That's the state of California aid. So this is for your Cal grants. The state university grant in this particular student is actually campus aid. So this is the CSUN grant that the student is receiving. And I'll talk about the differences later on. But the amounts that are being shown here are also based on full-time enrollment. Who knows what full-time enrollment is? How many units?
Over 6.
Say it louder. 12 units. What happens if you enroll in less than 12 units? Are you still going to get this amount?
No.
Nope. It's going to get reduced based on actual enrollment. In order to qualify for most of this aid that you see here, you have to be enrolled in at least half-time. What's half-time enrollment? 6. Very easy, right? 12 divided. Okay, good job. I want to make sure you all know that. So you have to be enrolled in at least 6 units to get access to some of this aid. Now, on the same page, the previous one was showing you your academic year amount. This is breaking it down by semester. So you can see it gives you the fall semester and it gives you the spring semester. Now, this student, I want to point out, has a loan. Is it in the accept? No, it isn't. Grants are automatically accepted for every student. So if you received a grant, you don't have to worry about accepting it. We'll take care of that. But the student loan, does it have to be paid back? Mm-hmm. Yes. So as the student has the responsibility to either say, I don't want to take out a student loan, or I still need because it doesn't cover all of my aid, I have to accept it. I'll talk about how accepting loans in one of the next slides here. Does this student have enough to pay for tuition, do you think?
Yeah.
How much is tuition?
6,000 something.
6,600. Is that for a semester or is that for the year?
Semester.
For a year. But this right here is for a semester. So does the student have enough for the semester tuition? Yes. So that's how you're able to read your financial aid. You'll notice this one, like I said, it's spring semester and fall semester. And here it's telling you the offered amount because it's also including the student loan. And if you notice in the accepted column, it's showing you less because this student hasn't accepted their loan. So that's how that works. So how much do you owe? How many of you guys have gone to the Paying Your Fees workshop? I would encourage you if you haven't, because they will go more into detail about this page. I'm just going to kind of gloss over it. But if you want to find out, once you've enrolled for classes, once you have selected your on-campus housing, these charges will all appear on your, on the View Your Account information. That's also in the Financial Aid Matters tabs, but this is called My Financial Aid Obligations Pagelet. So right there, you click on it, and it'll take you to your account page. It almost looks like your awards page, right? But they're different. So here, it's gonna show you your charges and the type of charges. This student has tuition, and the student has housing. Here it's showing the tuition, and here it's showing the housing. And if you notice this column here, it's saying anticipated aid. Down below, you also see an anticipated aid, and it'll tell you the total of your fall semester and in your spring semester. The anticipated aid will only show the awards that have been accepted. So if you haven't accepted your loans, they're not going to appear as anticipated aid, and they won't apply to your outstanding charges. So you see here the student has charges, has enough to pay for those tuition charges. So do they have a future charge? This one says no. This right here column says, do you owe any money? Does this student owe money? No. Because financial aid is covering all of this particular student charges. So when you look at your student account, you want to make sure that you don't have anything in this last column. And if you do, who needs to take care of that payment?
I do.
Us.
Me?
No.
No, you guys, right? So this is where you go, or you can say, you know what, maybe we are going to take out some of those student loans, right? To maybe help pay the cost that the grants didn't pay for. And as you can see, the housing charges is also showing here. For this particular student, it's probably only showing their first month charges or their second month. You want to check with housing as to what your payments really are and how they're broken down to. If they appear as part of your charges when financial aid is awarded to you, your tuition and your housing will get deducted from your financial aid check. And if you have a balance, where do you think that balance goes to?
The student.
To the student, it does. So how does the student get this balance? After my tuition is paid for and my housing is paid for, I still have about $1,000 left. Where does this payment go to?
E-refund.
E-refund, I heard. So two options. We can go old school way and send you a paper check through the post office that you get in your mailbox, then you have to go to the bank, cash it, deposit it, that deal. I don't know if the students even know about that process. The other process is called e-refund, electronic refund. It's direct deposit. So it goes directly to the bank account that you select, and it's there. So you don't have to, you're putting the postman out of work, and you're putting the gasoline company for your cars out of work because you don't have to drive on your car, which is good. And you get it a lot faster, all right? So those are the two ways you get it. So once you get that money, what do you use it for?
Food.
Books. Good job. So you guys are gonna buy your books. All right, good stuff. So you buy books, how about food? What if you need to eat? Can you use that money to buy food? Yes, that's part of your cost to attend college. You need to feed your brain, well, your stomach, the books will feed your brain, right? How about if you need to buy a bus pass or gas for your car to get you to work, can you use that money for that? Yes, you can use it for that. So it's whatever expenses are related to your college education, you can utilize that financial aid check. But if you only got $1,000 after your housing and tuition is paid for, how long do you have to stretch that $1,000 for? Right? Through the end of the semester. So budgeting. Parents?
6 months?
The 3.5 months, because the budget is for 9 months between your spring and your fall semester. So, Cal grants. Remember I talked about federal aid, and then I talked about the state aid. California Cal grants have an additional process in order for you to claim your award. What is that process? So, number one, you fill out the FAFSA or the California Dream Act. Then if you qualify for that Cal Grant will send you a notification either through the mail or through email. Your high schools, however, have a responsibility to send what's called your GPA verification. If you attended a public school or a public charter, they are mandated by law here in California to submit that information electronically. Once the California Student Aid Commission receives your FAFSA or your California Dream Act, they'll mail you that information and say, okay, now you have to create a web grant account. You have to tell us by this time what school you've decided on, because many of you probably applied to more than one university, correct? So now when you go to your Cal Grant, you have to say, this is the school that I want you to send my Cal Grant to. So if you want CSUN to be that school, you want to make sure you include CSUN on that web grant. They will send you then what's called the California Student Aid Report, and on this it'll list the amount you're getting, what school it's being sent to. The Cal Grant should not be part of your financial aid packet yet, because not until May, and I think right here, in May, the California Student Aid Commission is going to start sending us that information, and then we'll include it in your package. If you receive communication saying, hey, you're getting a Cal Grant, and say it's already about June, and you still don't see it as part of your packet, your financial aid packet, come talk to us, because we need to find out what went wrong, or if there's something missing. Or the other thing that could have happened is that instead of getting the Cal Grant, you get the state university grant. So you saw in that other financial aid packet that I showed you, that student had the California Student Aid, the state university grant. You could only get one or the other, because both of these grants, the Cal Grant fee grant and the state university grant, tongue gets tied with all these state grants. Both of them pay tuition only. So that's why you can't get both. You'll either get one or you'll get the other one, because both of them are just paying your tuition. So when you look at your tuition and fees, it doesn't pay the fee part of it, which is about $550. It only pays the tuition portion. So that's what this grant does. All of your other grants, if you receive them, will pay all those other campus fees that you'll be charged. So both of these, like I said, it covers your tuition. You have to apply by March 2nd to either the FAFSA or the California DREAM Act. The eligibility for the Cal grant is your GPA. That's why it's so important that the GPA gets set. Once you've attended 1 year here at CSUN, every year we'll send it electronically to see if you continue to qualify for this grant. The Cal grant, you have to do that web login. You don't have to do that for the State University grant. And if you're getting any outside sponsorship, if you have a parent who maybe went to the military and they're getting a VA dependent fee waiver that's already covering your tuition, you wouldn't qualify for this, because again, they're paying the same item. If your parent maybe works for the CSU and you get a dependent fee waiver for your student to attend to CSU, you wouldn't get this one, because again, they're paying the same thing. If you get any other employment-based program sponsorship that will pay for your child's tuition, same applies. So you could only have one source paying your tuition. So it'll either be the Cal grant, it'll be the State University grant, or it'll be these outside sponsorships. Loans. So there's two types of loan that the student will qualify for, and then there's a parent plus loan. So as you can see, the difference is interest. And also the difference is when you have to repay these. So the subsidized loan, to help you guys remember the difference between a subsidized and an unsubsidized loan, is the following. The subsidized loan has a government subsidy that pays for the interest. So if you borrow this subsidized loan, as long as you're enrolled half-time, no interest is accumulating on that loan. The unsubsidized has no government subsidy. That's why it's an unsubsidized loan. The interest will start to accumulate the moment you borrow that loan. Both of the loans have the same interest rate. Both of them don't have to go into a repayment right away. It's not until you separate from the university, either by graduating, which I hope all of you will do, or you stop attending for whatever reason, or you decide to attend less than half-time, so you're enrolled in less than 6 units. You will go into what's called 6 months grace period, and at the end of those 6 months, you go into repayment. Credit cards don't offer that same grace period or no interest. So student government loans give you at least that kind of a break. Now the parent plus loan is a little bit different. So the interest is different. It has to be applied. It's gonna go through a credit check. The student loans don't go through a credit check. You just get the loan offer because you're a college student. That's it. Parents have to have credit worthiness, and also parents will go into repayment the following month that they receive that loan. So those are a little bit of the differences between the two. Now, if you are interested in accepting your student loan, 3 steps you have to do. Number 1, you go back to that financial aid essentials pagelet and you click on accept loans. Once you, and I'll show you what that looks like in the next slide, but once you accept it, 2 other items you have to do. One is called the loan entrance and master promissory note. Well, what do these 2 things mean? Well, the loan entrance is going to be an online tutorial. It takes about a half hour. You do it on your own. It'll tell you what are your responsibilities as a borrower, when you have to repay it back. It tells you the interest. It gives you all of this information. The second thing you have to do is called the master promissory note. This is basically a document that you're going to sign electronically that says, I promise I will pay back this student loan. That's what that means. So when you go to the accept my loans, this is what you'll see. You're subsidized, you're unsubsidized, it'll tell you what was offered, and then you have a box right here that opens up. You can either say, I want to borrow the full amount, or maybe I only want to borrow a portion of it. So you don't have to borrow at all, number one. Number two, you don't have to borrow everything that was offered to you. Maybe after you look at to see what your charges are, say you probably only have $500 that weren't covered by your financial aid, so maybe that's what you'll take out instead. So you can change the amount on here, and then you have to say, I accept. The one thing I will warn you, remember your financial aid gets divided into how many semesters?
2.
2. So if this person is accepting 500, how much are they going to receive for the fall semester?
5.
Louder? 250. So you have to be careful when you're accepting your loans. Know that that is going to get split into the 2 semesters. So if you needed 500 for the fall semester, how much should you borrow? 1,000, so that it gets divided. And then remember also here, it's going to tell you you're subsidized or you're unsubsidized. Then you're going to hit update totals, and then you'll hit the submit button. Once you hit that submit button, it'll trigger our system to then send you an email, add to-do list items for a loan entrance and for a master promissory note. You'll get an email, or on your to-do list, it'll give you the instructions on where to do your loan entrance and where to complete the promissory note. And it's done on studentloans.gov. It's a government website. So, how many of you guys, by show of hands, have heard of the Federal Work Study Program? All right, so quite a few. I'm currently the interim Federal Work Study Coordinator here, so I also have that hat on now. I'm going to switch hats from Financial Aid Counselor to the Work Study Coordinator program, okay? So what is this? How does this program work here on campus? So all of you will probably not have this as part of your financial aid packet. So if you're interested in the program, you have to email work.study with your name and CSUN ID number and say, I'm interested, do I qualify? Starting July 3rd. At that point, we will give you instructions and either tell you, yes, you qualify, or no, you don't qualify. Well, what am I qualifying for, right? So work study, it's a grant that you get from the federal government. Then you get to earn that grant by working. Well, what kind of jobs do I have to do? There's a lot of jobs. We have anything from biology lab assistants to clerical work, to tutoring, to our campus police escorts here we have on campus. A lot of our USU workers, student workers out here are under the Federal Work Study Program, AS, Associated Students, athletics. Pretty much we have 123 employers on campus for various jobs. And so why the work study program? Well, an employer is more likely to hire you because you're already coming in with a portion of your wages, which is your grant. Because every paycheck that you're earning through that job is actually coming from your grant, because that's how you earn your grant through work. And so that's the benefit. Let's say you don't qualify for work study. You would still qualify for student employment, except that the employer now has to pay your full salary out of their budget, which everybody does. Okay, every department has a budget to hire some student workers. The work study just gives you that edge in maybe for qualifying with someone else because you have that grant. In order to qualify for work study, you have to file by March 2nd. You have to have need, as I explained earlier. You have to be enrolled in at least half-time, which you all know how much that is. And you have to meet all other financial aid deadlines. So if you were selected for verification, and I'll talk about this in the next slide, if you were selected to submit some documents, if you haven't done that yet, we wouldn't be able to determine whether you qualify for the work-study grant or not, because you have to be awarded first in order for us to determine whether you qualify. Why? Because we need to know, did you get your full need already met by the other grants? Or did you still have some need that wasn't met? And if the question is you still have need that wasn't met, most likely then you will qualify for the work-study grant. Now, this is really, really important. So if you guys are falling asleep, this is the time where you wake up, all right? So how many of you guys have heard that financial aid comes with strings attached? Well, it does come with strings attached. So this year, you guys are getting a break. So if you're a transfer student or you're a freshman, admissions and records is the one who's looking at your grades. But once you've completed your first semester here at CSUN, guess who else checks your grades? Financial aid does. And this process is called satisfactory academic progress. So the federal government and the state government, state of California, says all students who want to receive aid have to make progress towards their degree, and it has to be satisfactory, right? So we will check your grades at the end of your spring semester. So this will be around June of 2018. Part of this requirement to be meeting satisfactory academic progress is you gotta be passing 80% of the classes you attempt. What does passing mean? C or better. So you have to be passing 80% of the classes you guys attempt with a C or better. You also have to have a GPA of C or better, right? And then the last part that won't affect you guys until you get to your senior year. How many of you plan to be a 7th year senior? Oh no? Only me? All right. Well, I guess I'm alone on this one. How many of you guys plan to graduate within 4 years? All right. So most of you then will not fall into this pitfall here, which means how many units, if you guys know, is it required to receive a bachelor's? 120. Say it louder.
120.
120. Financial aid caps you at what? 150. So if you should be receiving your degree at 120, but you've hit 150, financial aid says, good luck, I'm finishing your degree. But you guys have already used up your financial aid here at CSUN. So you still have about a 30-unit difference there. That's about a year, right? So you could do it, but be aware of these things. So if all of you guys are planning to finish in 4 years, you're not gonna fall into this category. So how many of you guys have already received your financial aid? Show of hands. Okay, not everybody. Next year, you will not receive your financial aid in April. Why? Because we're still in our spring semester right now. So grades still haven't posted for you. The spring semester doesn't end till May, the end of May. Grades have to be submitted by your professors. They have to get placed by admissions and records. So not until about June does financial aid receive all of your grades. So as a continuing student, do not expect to get your financial aid till either middle of June or late June. Again, you guys got a break. You got an early financial aid packet this year. We didn't check your grades for financial aid purposes, but next year we will check your grades, and we'll also wait till your grades have posted from the spring semester before awarding you. Please keep your questions in hand, and I will answer them at the end of the presentation. So, scholarships. Now, scholarships I put after your loans and your Cal grants, because yes, all of those have that SAP, which again, remember what did I say? We have acronyms, right? SAP stands for Satisfactory Academic Progress. scholarships have a GPA requirement. Most of them, you have to have a minimum GPA to qualify. So SAP will come into play, but mostly they're looking at your GPA all the time. We have on-campus scholarships and we have off-campus scholarships. The benefit of the on-campus scholarship is that you're only competing against other CSUN students. Your off-campus scholarships, who are you guys competing with? The nation, the state, the county, whatever type of scholarship it is you're applying to. So our on-campus only are for CSUN student, and that's all who is you are going to be competing, and only CSUN students can apply for these scholarships. We have a platform called Academic Works. Platform just like Twitter, just like Facebook, right? You have to log in, create a profile, but your profile is going to include your GPA, your major, things of that nature, because now we want to match you up with the scholarships that we have based on your profile information. You're going to go through your portal to do this, but you are going to go first to this website. Once you actually click on any of these scholarships to apply, it's going to prompt you to log into your CSUN portal. So these two platforms are connected. I would encourage all of you to create a profile, try to apply for scholarships. Most of our scholarship deadlines are coming up towards the end of April and early May. So you guys still have time to apply for scholarships. Now, this is the part that holds up most people. So everybody else who didn't raise their hand saying that they've been awarded, how many now, with the show of hands, how many of you have to submit documents to our office? Yeah, that's about the other half in here. Exactly. So these are the most typical requests that we have for documents. Taxes, student non-filing, W-2s. So this is again when I said, it's just a selection from the federal government. They want to verify the information. If you were one of the lucky individuals selected to be verified, you want to make sure that you submit all of this information by May 1st. Well, why May 1st? We're a large institution and this process is still a manual process. So myself, the other counselors out at the expo, we have to review all of this manually. So there's actually not a computer process that does it. And so in order for us to guarantee that we're gonna award you by the start of the fall semester, we gotta give ourselves time. And so we're asking for your help in this by submitting all your documents by May 1st. Now, where do you check to see if you were selected for any of these documents or if we're requesting anything? You go to your to-do list. So and this is what your to-do list will look like. These will all be links. If you click on each of them, it'll give you instructions on how to get that information. Where do you get a tax transcript? From the IRS. Where do you get your W-2s? From your employer. Where do you get the non-filing form? From the IRS. If you also is showing right here the verification, dependent verification, it's part of your financial aid essentials pagelet there, because it's an electronic form that you submit to our office electronically. The only paper out of the worksheet you have to submit to us is the signature page. That you either mail in to us or you bring it in person. These are other documents outside of income information. So verification of citizenship, selective services, driver's license or social security, or high school transcripts. So the FAFSA, remember the acronym stands for Federal Application? So your FAFSA actually goes through what's called a database match. What does the database match mean? It's cross-referencing other government agencies, such as Selective Service, Social Security Administration. So if anybody here in this room, if we're asking you for proof of citizenship, most likely this is what happened. You weren't born a US citizen, you probably became a naturalized citizen. And when that happens, You are responsible for updating the Social Security Administration that now you've become a citizen. Because most likely when you were issued your Social Security, you were either a permanent resident or you were under some type of visa program. Once you became a citizen, it was your responsibility to update Social Security to say, hey, my Social Security number now belongs to a US citizen. So when the FAFSA went through that database match, it said this Social Security number doesn't belong to a citizen, which is what you indicated on your application. So now it's the school's responsibility to verify that this is correct. So that's one of them. For all the males here, once you turn 18, the government wants you to register for selective service. This is also AKA the draft, if many of you know that. So that's what you are registering for. And we need proof of that. If you're not 18 yet, we have a form that you submit to us saying, hey, I'm not 18 yet, so I'm not registering for selective service this year. But next year you would be required to do so. Now these are the important dates, like I mentioned. There's the May 1st. You have to submit all of your documents. By July 30th, between now and July 30th, if you need to accept your student loans, in order for them to be available to pay for your charges, you want to do it between this time frame. July 3rd is when you'll start emailing work study to find out if you qualify for the program. About August 18 is where we call disbursement. What that means is your financial aid was awarded. Now we're actually releasing it to your student account and it becomes actual money that's going to pay those charges towards either housing or tuition. And then August 28th, what happens then? School starts. You guys are not excited. Why? School starts! Yay! Come be a college student. I'm the only one excited here. Oh, goodness. Now, our website is full of resources. If you guys need a planning guide, a tutorial, the verification guide, this form is just too complicated. You go on there, all of our urgent need information, scholarship information, work study information, everything, like I said, these are platforms. Just go in there, start clicking everything, and you'll find out most of your answers will be answered through our website. And now, these are our hours, and these are our contact information. Counselors are available Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. They're on a walk-in basis. There's no appointments. You just show up on either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. During those times, you get a referral slip from our counter windows to see a counselor, and maybe if you're lucky, you get to see me again. But only if you're lucky. It's like a lottery. Now I'm going to open it up for questions. So, and I have my people with the mics, I think, for questions. Raise your hand up high. I think there's one up here. There's another one over here.
I had a couple questions. The first one, that's really loud. The first one, I just wanted to clarify, the Cal grant, we're just now supposed to be hearing about that, and then the state university one should already be in there if that was awarded?
Yes, so Cal Grant, you should have already gotten a letter from CSAC. So if you got that and you created your web grant account and included CSUN as the school, next month we're going to start receiving that information as us, and we'll start putting it into the students' financial aid packet.
Okay, and then where would we find out what our EFC, what number or whatever that was determined?
You could do one of two things. It's on your FAFSA. You could look at your student aid report on your FAFSA. There's a link for it when you log into FAFSA.gov. Or you could check your awards page. It'll have it there as well. And then up here, and raise it up high. If not, and then I see some over here, and I see this one over here.
So my child will not qualify for a Cal grant because she's on the VA. Can she apply for other types of grants?
She already applied for them through the FAFSA.
Oh, okay.
The FAFSA. So the only additional one would be the scholarships. That would be an additional application
Okay.
process.
Thank you.
Then I saw some on this side, and then I saw you guys pick it up. Yeah. Fight for it. No, just kidding.
So, if you pass the deadline with FAFSA or Cal Grant, can I apply now for a personal loan? I mean, a CSUN loan?
So we don't have a CSUN loan. The federal loans don't have a deadline date, so you can still apply to your FAFSA. So
And
the
Cal
state,
Grant?
the Cal Grant is the March 2nd. I would still apply for your FAFSA. Even if it's already past March 2nd, still submit an application.
But you did speak about loans, CSUN loans.
It's called a Parent Plus loan, and that's also a federal loan. And you're subsidized and you're unsubsidized. Those are federal loans, and those do not have a deadline date. So you could apply to those through your FAFSA all the way through June 30th of 2018, starting now.
So this is also through FAFSA.
It's also through FAFSA,
All
correct?
right, thank you.
Are you guys open to submit documents today?
What?
Like,
You want me to work on a Saturday? Really? Is that your question?
yes.
I'm already doing a presentation. That's not enough? No, the answer is no. These are our hours right here. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We need to have weekends.
So I can't apply to Cal Grant or what was the other one?
State University.
Yeah, I can't apply to it anymore.
So your FAFSA is your application.
Yes.
You have to receive communication from CSAC if you qualify for the Cal Grant, because that has to do with your high school GPA.
Yeah. Community college.
Community college, your community college will send the GPA verification to CSAC. So
Yeah.
find out from their office. The FAFSA is
From my community college's office.
your community college financial aid office should be sending the GPA verification. You also have to log into web grants. You have to do, for transfer students, it's called the transfer entitlement. Because now you're saying, I'm moving away from the community college and I'm going to a 4-year university. So send this university my Cal Grant information.
So it's possible that even though I physically applied, I applied to FAFSA, but it kind of...
You can check with California Student Aid Commission website and find out, or go to your community college financial aid office to get more information about them sending that GPA verification.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think that was, over there, right over here.
So in order to start applying for scholarships, do you need to already commit to CSUN?
Do I have to say one?
Do you have to commit to the school in order to start applying for scholarships?
That's a good question. And you know what? I don't have the answer. So I would call the scholarship number.
Is it the same one, the 81?
Yeah, you could call the same one, and they'll transfer you to that line.
Okay.
But that's a good question, and I don't have the answer. You're gonna give me some homework. That I graduated school. Back there, and then up here, and then I know you already asked a question, so I'm gonna leave you till last. Let me get some other folks.
You said the limit in units was 150. Does it apply to units you already take in like transferring?
Great question. If you're a transfer student, the maximum, even say if you took 150 units at community college, the maximum that get transferred in is 75. So you as a transfer student are already starting in the midpoint. So you as a community college transfer student have to be more strategic about the classes that you're taking so that you don't go over that 150. Very good question. And, oh, wait, who has the mic? Okay, Mike, and then we'll go to you.
If we take out loans, can we pay them back before the end of the...
But of course, yes. No penalties. Because guess what? If you pay back that subsidized loan before they graduate, how much interest did you have to pay on it? There you go. Winner, winner. Chicken dinner.
Another transfer unit question. If you're transferring over but you didn't use any of your Cal Grant while you were going to the community college, do those units still transfer over?
Yes.
Ah.
You could grab either that person and then someone behind you, and then I know there's some people way in the back, and then we'll come to you. We still got time. I'm early. I'm like 11 minutes through that we have, I think, right?
If we're not eligible for FAFSA, just out of curiosity, what is the average cost for tuition, books, excluding housing and food, per semester?
That one's hard to tell you, because I'm gonna tell you, if you're a science major, you could be spending up to $2,000 in textbooks, because sciences, you need to have the latest information.
Maybe
Whereas, like, say, a humanities, literature, books don't change that much. The classics stay the same, so you can find a better price. So it all really depends.
Okay, skip the books. Like, what's tuition, campus?
You want to pin me down to an answer, don't you? I see, I know. Okay, I'm gonna say $800 per semester.
800?
Mm-hmm. I can't lose with that, because if it's less, you'll be like, oh, she was too high.
Hi, I want to know personal scholarship. How is that applied to the school?
Personal scholarship, how does that apply to the school?
Yes, like how is it forwarded to you?
It depends on the scholarship agency. Some of them already have established contact with our scholarship office, so we already have like an electronic transfer of scholarships. Some more newer scholarships will actually mail a paper check to us, but everything gets funneled through our office, because then we put that as part of your financial aid packet. The other thing I didn't mention is that you cannot exceed your cost of attendance in all aid. So if your cost of attendance was, say, again, $20,000, but you get a $50,000 Bill Gates scholarship, are you gonna get any financial aid? No, because it's covering all your costs already. So you're just swapping who's paying for what. Is it the government or is it Bill Gates? Let's go with Bill Gates.
Okay, if you already said this, I'm sorry, but I read that the cost of tuition was going to go up, and if it does, who do I need to call to make sure that my financial aid is still, if it's still going to cover tuition?
Great question. So tuition did go up. So the handout that you guys received from financial aid that was part of your packages, it has about $3,300 in your tuition cost. That was the old tuition amount. The new tuition amount, I want to say it's 34 and some change. So, and that's already going to be applied to your student account when you register for classes. It'll already show that a new amount on your student account page.
All right, for the Cal Grant, you said they need GPA verification. So do you know what is the minimum GPA they ask for?
3.0.
All right, thank you.
Let's say we qualified for FAFSA and we got all of our grant money and FAFSA money, but we still want to use loans for like extra money like books and stuff. Can we take out that money even though our tuition is paid for?
Yes, but just know you got to pay that loan back eventually. You can accept any loans at any time, and you can pay it back early or wait till you graduate to pay them back. Mm-hmm.
If my parents make the same amount of money year to year, or around the same amount at least, will I see my financial aid change from year to year?
No. Typically, you'll have the same, except if you go beyond a 5th year, because most federal grants do have also a cap, like your Pell Grant has approximately a 6-year cap. That would be the only difference, and then your loans actually increase. Every year that you attend, you get a larger borrowing amount, and the difference is about $1,000.
Hi. So when we filled out FAFSA, my situation was different. Is there any way of updating it?
Excellent question. Yes, so it's called a parent income appeal process. Because your FAFSA asked you for your 2015 income, but what year are we living in? I don't know, because I'm always dealing with like 10 years in 1 year. I don't never know. Yes, so we have what's called a parent income appeal. It's available either late May or early June. You go to our website to our forms and documents. There's an appeal link that you click on it and the form will be there. So if you lost your job, if you got divorced, you know, now you don't have the same income, you can do an appeal process. So you have that available.
My question is there a VA office here that could help with the application process?
There is. Check with admissions and records and they'll guide you to the VA office. Or you have time. Okay, they're cutting me off. We'll take one last question. Do we have time for one? All right, one. Who's the lucky one? And I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna hang out. I promise you. Go, ready, set, go, fast.
So I understand this is a unique situation, but let's say that you're approaching that 150 unit cap. Is there, like, what kind of options do we have? What can we do at that point?
Are you a current CSUN student?
No, but I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm a transfer student, but I'm concerned that I may possibly be reaching that point around graduation. So
I feel like the Verizon guy. You know, we used to say there's an app for that. I'm gonna say there's an appeal for that. So there is an appeal if you hit your 150. If you didn't pass the 80% mark, there's also an appeal for that. All right, guys, I'm gonna go hang over on the side.